Join our knowledgeable hosts as they dive into the captivating universe of comic books, movies, TV shows, and pop culture. Get ready for vibrant discussions and a shared enthusiasm for all things superhero and beyond. A comic podcast straight from the panels. This is Beyond the Capes.
All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Cape podcast. With us here is Phil Eichinger. You might have seen him, Detective Culpepper on Gotham, and we are here to discuss his time on the show, his acting, and his general love for the Batman and Gotham itself. Welcome to the show.
Yo, what's up, man? Great to have me. I'm finally happy to be here after our little delay, but we made it work, man.
That's right. So obviously, Gotham was huge. That was a fun episode you got to play as the detective. Now, was that like a fun show for you? Is that something like starting out acting, like you're always like, it'd be fun to do a show like that, like this is the type of show I want to do? Or is it something that kind of just came unexpected? You're like, you know what? I just want to, it's the Batman. What can I say? Like, let me just give it a go.
So no, as an actor, you take the jobs, right?
Yeah.
When you get a job, there's less work than downtime. An actor's always waiting. So you just take the work. And as comics and Batman was never into comics. I take the George Costanza quote, like when he had the shower that comics didn't take for me as a kid. I tried, I have a stack still. They didn't take for me. I was more into like baseball, hockey cards. But as for Gotham, it actually was the third time that I auditioned for that show. And I'm extremely happy for the part that I did end up getting. I can remember the two other parts. One was like just for like a promo commercial for the show. The second was like a circus barker or something. And then, the third time's a charm. The third time I went in, I felt it. I felt like it was one of those times that I felt like I was going to get the role. The people in casting really liked me, hence bringing me back numerous times for, Gotham. And I hit it. I nailed it. I had a mustache at the time. It was working for me. I kept it. My hair was like really long, a little bit longer and really iced back. And I actually knew nothing about the show. I never watched an episode of the show prior to, so I didn't even know the theme or the style, and then I watched. It was after the fact that I watched Gotham for my own project that I've been kind of developing. I didn't realize how dark and gritty it was for a Fox show, and I was like, wow. But anyway, going in the room, going in the audition room, I went in and just did the scene opposite the casting director, and it was like, I think that night my agent, all right, they want to pin you. It's a new lingo the business use. It's not like they're not booking you yet. They're pinning you. It's like pre-boarding. It's like, we're going to pin you before we book you. But it was like pinning Phil Eichinger for Detective Culpepper. I'm like, all right, sweet. And, I think it was the next morning that it was official. And TV happens very fast, especially a show that's been on the air a few years. And that was the 4th season. So it's like a well-oiled machine. You go in, you just go in, you do your job. You don't be an asshole. Just go in, do your job. Go to hair and makeup. Go to wardrobe. I remember wardrobe and a table read for the episode was a couple days before the shoot. That was fun. Everybody in the episode was there. And the day on set, we shot in Queens, Jamaica, Queens, where they had their exterior locations for the show, and it was a great day. I worked with Gordon and Bullock, in that scene, and we nailed it. We had a lot of bullshitting while the cameras weren't rolling. Our rehearsals were really fun. As you can see, I get thrown in the trunk, so we did that numerous times. And those cars were antiques. They're like early '80s. I don't know what they were, Caprices or whatever the style of the show those cars were. And there was no give in those trunks back then. So I was going in and out, I actually got a gash on my elbow, and the director and people were like, you okay? Yeah. I mean, I played professional hockey. I'm good. I could take a bump here and there. Just keep throwing me and let's get it right. So they ended up putting like a carpet in there. I'm like, all right, that's enough. They wanted to give me an elbow pad. I'm like, no, I'm good, guys. Let's go with it. Let's get the true feeling of the scene. And we had fun. It was like, like a half day of work there. And I was really happy for it with what happened. Culpepper, was supposed to be, a little more than that episode, but it's the business. I don't care. I embrace it today. It was a while ago, and it's still Gotham and Culpepper still come around. As look at us doing this podcast a few years later about it. It's just
Exactly.
cyclical, and I've learned to embrace that I've been a part of this DC universe and take it in, especially for what I was working on, like 2 years ago as well through the Gotham project.
Definitely. I think that's the crazy thing. When Gotham came out, obviously ourselves being comic book fans, that was huge because there had never been a show that had ever covered what happened before Batman got there. And I think it took a little backlash from some fans towards the end.
Yeah.
But I do think it has reached a point now with streaming because I've started rewatching it because I really enjoyed the show. I was willing to take it at is. It's a retelling, creative. I'm just happy to get a Batman show on primetime TV.
Right.
But I do think with streaming, we are starting to see a resurgence. I know you got a couple conventions ahead of you. Have you seen kind of like a resurgence where people are kind of rediscovering Gotham?
I think so because I see it in my residuals. As an actor, when you're in a union and you work television and especially, episodics, you get residuals for, when they're aired, when they're played, when they're rented. And I've seen, a spike in, a Gotham residual that I got. It's not hundreds and thousands of dollars, but sometimes they're like $20 or sometimes they're like $150.
No.
But that was a big difference because of where it's on Netflix, right?
I believe so. It's either that or HBO, because I know HBO Max has the DC partnership.
Yeah, that I know for a fact. Yes. Yes. So I did see a resurgence in that, and I saw a resurgence in myself in the past month, just because, just for instance, like vacations that I go on, and when you meet new people, what do you do for a living? What do you do for a living? Okay. So when Gotham comes up as one of the shows I was on, that's usually the one, and Law and Order, that hit with people and they ask a lot of questions. And so it kind of made it over the past month. It made Gotham come back for me, being able to do another like Comic-Con again, and like let me tie it in with your show. So it's kind of like I got these two things this week, and where I haven't done anything with Gotham in 2 years or so. But like I said, I embrace it when it comes in because it's really good to being not, like I told you, not familiar with the show, not familiar with comic books. It took me a while to actually be like, there's a world out there that really appreciate you being a part of this DC world that that you can take to the next step and meet people and sign and be one on one and chat and give them all the information they want to hear about like you like actor or working on the Gotham show. Or so it's not, I've learned to embrace it, whether it comes every 2 years or like how this came this week for me. It's great, and it's part of being an actor that's in that world. I think as well, you really soak it up and just do what you can. And I think I have, with being able to extend this role when I have the time to do something with it. And like we can also touch base with like the script and the pilot the Gotham spinoff that I wrote and been pitching for a while now, and they're obviously extremely hard because, like you said, HBO Max is the only people that in DC that you can sell it to. But I'll just hold on to it until I become a little bit higher in the echelon. And look at this, I got a Culpepper pilot, based off. It's a spinoff of Gotham, kind of based around like Darkseid and Superman, and how I interwove the universe and how Culpepper, where he is like 10 years after Gotham, kind of that very like highfalutin kind of cryptocurrency type drama. Yeah,
definitely. Well, before we get into that, was being an actor then like always like the goal? I mean, did you grow up like that was like you kind of found your niche early on, like maybe through elementary, high school, or just
no way.
It just fell right into your lap?
It's exactly what I say. I was 30 when acting, so it was a second career for me. I was way beyond graduating from college. And like I kind of touched on, I played semi-professional hockey back in my late 20s, early 30s, was kind of still going along with it. At 30, I tried out for this team out in Canada, and I didn't want to end up being in this awkward gong show that the league folds and bullshit happens. Because at the time, minor league hockey wasn't as organized as minor league baseball, affiliated with this. It was just like these guys who had a lot of money are going to create 6 teams in Michigan, Canada, and we're going to see these guys play. So the league unfortunately folded. I came home. I'm like, all right, what the hell am I going to do now? I just, for fun, I signed up for an acting class at a local community college where I kind of grew up in central New Jersey. I was, like I said, I was 30 at the time. Took this class. The professor's like, I don't know him verbatim, but what he said is it was like, you are awesome. You should go do this for a living. I'm like, okay. So at 30, I was kind of running a baseball card shop. I'm like, sure, I'll go. What do I have to do? You got to go audition. So I started auditioning and started pretty much booking, I say it loosely, booking everything I was auditioning for. And at the time, you also, as an actor, you say yes to everything because you want to build. But right away, so it was about 2006, 2007, I booked a 9-month contract for a theater tour. I'm like, holy shit, right out of the gate, I'm like, going to be working for 9 months. And then that was it. I'm like, I'm going to fulfill and continue to do this. I had extremely supportive family that I didn't really have to get a side job. My living quarters were great. And then just turning into an even more adult that I am now. I have a supportive wife that lets me do this full time because it's got its ebbs and flows, man. There's months, there's years I don't work. Meaning booking. Sure, I audition, 150 times a year for stuff, but you don't hear the word no. You only hear yes. So you just do your job as an actor, put it out there, and that's what this world is now. You're just putting your videos out there. There's nothing in person anymore, really, which I struggled with for quite a while after, like March of 2020. Really struggled with the at-home auditions and you miss this part of Phil Eichinger walking into the room with my presence, where you're just then end up watching, Phil Eichinger like this audition, So you got to bring a lot of different nuances to the table now, but now I've accepted it. It costs me no money to go into Manhattan anymore to audition. They're just from home. Sorry, we went off a little bit on that, but kind of summarizing from 2006 really quickly. I mean, we can dive into anything, and I'd be happy to tell you any type of story. Or
well, as we said before, too, you have a lot of experience now. Also, I know on your IMDb as producing and kind of directing. Yeah. Do you find yourself preferring kind of one versus the other now that you've been an actor, but you've seen kind of the inside, kind of the flow of the scene? Because one of our co-hosts obviously also went to film school in Chicago, so I'm always interested in. I always went to a lot of shoots with him. Do you prefer it now, kind of being on the other side, having a little bit more control, kind of putting like your vision out there, or trying to make? Essentially, I mean, you're making art instead of acting it.
Right. No, I don't. For the things I've done, they're so minuscule, meaning I didn't have a lot of people attached to them, and that's how I think I like to work. I did 3 projects from 2017 to 2021, and they all went levels up in its style, performance, and what we were kind of attaining. And like I said, usually very small. I write as well, so if it comes from an idea, like my first film was called Suits Don't Matter. And I did it with my buddy who went to film school, and he directs as well. I'm like, hey, just let's direct this. Let's shoot this together. It was just supposed to be a spoof on Matthew McConaughey's Lincoln commercials that he was doing back a couple years ago, right? He Matthew McConaughey. It was just supposed to be a silly spoof. And he and I looked at each other like, no, there's much more than this. So we turned it into that, what you see. I don't know if you watch it, but just this relationship between a man and a boy. You don't know their relationship, if they were uncle and nephew, father, son, older brother, and younger brother, and this dynamic of this relationship that, we all live once. Let's live in the moment. Suits don't matter. Like, kind of like a throw at people who wear suits and they're all like official. Uh, and then I just did some voiceover to it, and it won a lot of awards. We were like shocked as shit when we were getting into all these little festivals, and it won a lot. So then that took me to my next one, Garage, which was, who has the balls to act on screen by themselves opposite of a garage, an inanimate object? Who am I, Tom Hanks with like a volleyball? I'm like, no, I know I have the chops. I'm going to give it a go in like a 12-minute short film. It was loosely based around my father, the relationship I have with my father, who's still around, and we still have a great relationship.
Yeah.
We've always had a great relationship, but in fiction, you got to like amp up the volume of drama and twists.
Of course.
But that was fun, and that was just three of us. It was me acting, my buddy again who helped me with suits, and then a cinematographer. We just shot it in my garage, which I turned into a set. I did all the set dressing, and everything you see was a place and a purpose. It wasn't like, that wasn't what my garage looked like. That's me knowing I'm going to hit different marks and talk to this, and all in the script. And that, once again, I won a lot of Best Actor, nominated for Best Actor, and short film festivals, which it's good for you as an artist. It doesn't get you anywhere, doesn't project you really. They're minuscule festivals, but it feels good as a writer. And then I was able to kind of bring the history I have with my dad, like nuances we had growing up. I grew up, so it felt good to kind of win awards and have my dad went there one time when I actually won an award, which was cool. And then the one after that was just, it was the animated. So I took it a step even further. I did some animation.
Wow.
I hired an animator. That was really, that was the most budgeted film, because an animator is not cheap. And I wanted to get a really good guy for this story that I had about just a young artichoke boy, just being comfortable in his own color and skin, whether he was a boy or girl. And that was, what is going on this day and age about children. And it's, like I said, another 3-minute short film, but it was, a couple $1,000s to do that. And it was just something that my daughter said out of the blue. It was inspired, just what she said out of the blue 4 years ago. And it was like, I wish I was a different color. I wish I was the color of an eggplant, she said. I'm like, holy shit, that's a great start for writing a story about someone who may be unhappy and wishes they were a different color. Like, what if it was an artichoke that wanted to be a plum or an eggplant? So I took it to this route of, adults will get it. Kids, it's perfect for kids to kind of, I'm comfortable who I am. So yeah, those are the 3 projects I know you were touch basing on, and the 3 that I've done. It's been a while since I actually produced anything. I do a lot of writing to try to sell now, like the Culpepper pilot. That was something that was completed about 2 years ago. That's like a 78-page, pilot. I also have 2 Christmas Hallmark adjacent style TV movies that I've pitched as well. Came really, really fucking close with them too, man, because I know the formula to write a Hallmark Christmas movie, and I nailed it, and I banged out 2 in like, I don't know, it was like 2.5 weeks. I'm like, holy, and they're, 80 to 90 pages, and it's a formula for it. You follow the formula, and I was really close to selling one. But it's the story of just you just keep putting stuff out there. Yeah.
And with your 3 short films, you obviously picked up a lot of experience. And that's why we come back to Detective Culpepper. Obviously, that's huge. San Diego just happened. DC just now rebranded, new logo with studios. And DC for a while kind of lost a lot of people. I think just there's some interesting casts and stories and stuff, but they are headed in a bigger direction. So this might actually be, the best time to get a story like that out, because I think that's what Gotham did so well, is that Bullock and Gordon and Montoya.
Yeah.
At least for me, I'm very familiar. I mean, they've had their own comic books because the Gotham Police Department is its own drama within itself, comic or live action. Now, obviously, you have a script ready.
Yeah.
With the advent kind of Kickstarter and Indiegogo, if DC or HBO was not to do it, have you ever thought of trying to kickstart just enough funds to make your actual pilot episode?
I have, but I also, I thought about it, and my writing partner on that pilot, we tossed it over the ideas, and I kind of didn't want to go down almost like the quote unquote fan film of it.
Yeah.
I want it to be sold to the right people, that I'm going to end up being, Culpepper, the lead of this TV series, because, I played him. Yeah, it's probably like a firm no on that, because sure, I can do other projects that I can raise from friends that support me. And that's so big, and it's, because it's licensed material, I kind of don't want to just put a thing on YouTube, like a 3-minute trailer, and like, oh, this is great. This is great. And, it's so hard to get people to watch things.
Yeah.
So I say strong no for that, because I'm also not 18 to 20 doing this. I am this. So I'm trying to step up and sell it and get this done by DC and HBO. And, I had some responses for it, but, I have, and it's also tough not having a literary agent. I have acting agents, I have a manager. So it's very hard to be, unsolicited, submissions. So I look at that as like, come on, really? I mean, but it's just like every art. It's all hard to get in front of the right people with certain things. But I'm very, very happy with it. I haven't read it in a while, but it's almost like I don't need to, because it's still current. It still deals with today. It's like I was telling. It's very highfalutin, sexy, a la like Billions meets Succession. Like I said, where we see Culpepper, and I'll be able to play him still. So that's the good thing. I still have some time. I'm not too old to play this fast forwarded version of Culpepper, who is not in the GCPD anymore. He's this high end security guard for a bank now, and he's cleaned up a lot. He wears fancy, his suit. He's really in shape. So that's kind of, we see him, how he changed, and obviously flashbacks occur, and just the story of how Darkseid was born, and how he comes into this world, because there is a mesh, there is a tie that I found through a comic book back in the early '90s. There was this character called Culpepper, and he's in these series. And I'm sorry, I lost the saying. There were these inserts. It was like a 2-page inserts, and they lasted a couple of years. And there's this Culpepper character in it. He's only in it like twice, and he's a very older guy. He's a part of the consortium. That's the group of people who want to take down Superman. So we did this really interesting tie-in. You never see the superheroes in our, pilot or our show. They're just kind of mentioned, and tidbits and Easter eggs from Gotham. From all of Gotham, there's Easter eggs. That's why I went back and finally watched it, the whole series, to get knowledge of the show and see what I can pull from that into our new story, and whether it's a place or a name of a truck that was in my episode comes back, and they're like mob. Lots of little hints of Easter eggs in it, but really well done. And I look forward to hopefully selling it and actually getting it made, because it would be really nice. I think it would really visually look awesome.
Definitely. And now, funny enough, having gone back and rewatched Gotham, I mean, I think I remember your episode very clearly, because you generally remember someone getting thrown into a trunk. It's one of those things that sticks out. Yeah. And it's funny because I feel like your character would have done really well in the first or second season, when things were a little more kind of based. Still, we didn't have Mr. Freeze or someone running around. Is that something you feel like you also would have liked to seen your character kind of be like that rogue detective in the first season that was just kind of hanging around?
Of course. I mean, watching the show, I'm like, oh my gosh, like my character fits in more than what but obviously the writer who wrote it, there was a reason. You have there's never a small role in a TV show or anything. You're there for a purpose, and my purpose was they needed information that I had, right?
Yeah.
But like you said, it did change. The Gotham series changed because producers changed in the fourth and fifth season.
Yeah.
A lot of writers were hired run and gun, like one and dones. Especially the writer for. I became friendly with her for a little bit. We were talking through emails for a while, and she was just a hired gun just to write that episode, and that was it. And then she got producing credit as well. So it was like I don't know if there was I never read anything on it. I don't know if they were like thinking of stopping after season 4, and then like, oh gosh, we're doing it again. We got to do the season 5. But yes, so it definitely changed through producers writing. Yes, and so that's the main reason why that show shifted a little bit. And how like, at first, oh my gosh, of course it would have been awesome. Yeah, to be in like a recurring role. Actors look for that. I mean, that's just awesome work to be going to work on an episodic, day in, day out for a couple episodes or a season. That's just fantastic. That would have been awesome. Yeah. But you embrace, like I said, you embrace what's given to you, and you take it, you do your job, and look where it's got me a couple years later, still kind of talking about it and keeping it alive because I have hopes for that pilot.
Definitely. Well, and one of the things too with your other pilot, obviously, and you probably have known this again, going back and watching it, those first few seasons and like the Maroney crime family and stuff. Have you ever thought integrating like a Culpepper, almost mob Gotham story kind of prequel?
Prequel now. Ooh, never thought of the prequel. I do hint to Culpepper's life prior to the GCPD in the pilot. He was, I think I treated it like he was an officer down south somewhere. I don't remember if I actually gave a city, maybe Georgia or South Carolina, but I gave him a story, because you have to build, just in case, you have to build where he came from, where he's going. So I never thought of a prequel, but I did lay out that he was down somewhere and had this opportunity to come up to Gotham and work. And then, like I said, we fast forward, whatever the years are going to be by the time it gets built, where he is now. So there is the arc, and then there's shows you why he leaves, and there's reasons why he leaves the GCPD eventually. But I never thought of the prequel, only kind of where he came from in the pilot that I wrote.
All right, perfect. Well, we got another idea. HBO, if you're listening, here we go. And it's another one ready to go. Now, being on a set as big as Gotham and being produced by a big company, is there anything that kind of surprised you being on the set, or something you took away from it that you were kind of almost either surprised in a good or bad way? You didn't know like this is how it was done, or you were very happy with the way something was done on set?
I was happy with everything. Like I said earlier, well-oiled machine. I've done a handful of episodics that were past like 2 years working. This might have Law and Order was much faster and quicker. But not that I'm not saying anything bad about Gotham, but I don't know. It was like the 14th season I worked on Law and Order SVU. But Gotham, it was just very efficient, and you have to be. Those people have been doing it for 4 years. Regardless of if a new director comes in, there's still a director who's been in the episodic circuit or feature circuit for quite a while. They're not, so I think I was most surprised with the conversations that I had with, Donald Logue and Mackenzie, just while we were in between takes. They're and people, don't see that side, people just watch the show. They don't see them normally for actor's sake. You sit and you chat, you don't. Sure, they work every day on the show, and you got this guy coming in. You don't want to throw a curveball. You don't want to get them off their game. So it's almost like if they talk to you, other than saying, "Hey, what's up, guys? I look forward to it," you return a conversation. Don't think, "Oh my God, they're high and mighty." No, I'm in the same job as you. They just got a couple more zeros on their check, and they're working every day. So I don't look high and mighty to that, because I'm fortunate that I get to do that and work with people. But I just loved how dark and gritty the scene was. It was so dark in that garage that we shot. It's just so cool. I just remember the feeling. It was just intense for the moment at the trunk. And I like that you said the trunk bit because, there was another TV show I did on NBC that I threw someone in the trunk. So I think I should put on my special skills section. I got trunk skills, whether I get thrown, throw people. And so it was kind of funny counterbalance that I'm the trunk guy all of a sudden. No, even though it was a couple, years ago, but I make that connection and just like have fun with it.
Special quota.
Yeah.
Now I think everyone always wonders when you guys are on set, either Law and Order or Gotham.
Yeah.
Did you ever get to take anything? Did they give you anything on set, or you were at least able to get? Because Gotham, to me, if I was a detective, having my GCPD badge, like if I got to take that, that would be that would be the prime thing if I was going to, borrow something permanently or was given it.
You got a really fun little. It was a fun question you brought up. So no, I have never taken anything from any sets of a TV show. And I always talk about this, so I was a detective, right?
Yeah.
So detectives wear the lanyards. So the office had the patches on their stuff.
Yeah.
Funny enough, my co-writer of the Culpepper pilot, his sister, wardrobe department, she worked on Gotham. I didn't know that at the time. So for my birthday a couple years ago, he got me, if you can wait a second.
I can.
Because of the Comic-Con appearance I'm going on. So I have the GCPD patch on wardrobes from
That's
the
awesome.
department. And like I said, I was a detective, so I had the lanyard, not the officer outfit. But yeah, so I just put this in a frame when I make appearances so people can see. So there's answer, yes, I have something, but I didn't steal it. I got it as a gift, and it's an official Gotham City Police Department officer patch from their shirts.
That's awesome. It's always worth to have some trophies.
I love it. Yeah, it's a cool artifact, especially of, like I said, the DC world, man. It's fun to have that.
Yeah. Now, obviously, with the resurgence of Gotham, as you talked about, you've been kind of doing some conventions.
Yeah.
Is the convention circuit still kind of new to you, or are you kind of a little bit of a foot in now?
I know my niche. Like I said, I'm not Ben McKenzie. I'm not doing these major where people, a lot of people don't know who I am. So I took that in stride when I started this I became privy to it as writing the script, 4 years after I was on the show. It all came together. Like, what took me so long? Like I said, it doesn't matter. I was doing it.
Yeah.
I'm like, what if, for me, not being in touch with the comic book world, right? What if I start getting out there and telling people, all right, there's this pilot in the works. Who knows if it's going to get produced, but I wanted to become familiar with the comic world because I knew nothing about and get myself out there at the time. So say, I guess it was like 2021, I started reaching out to very small comic book shops that were, Pennsylvania, that had these small intimate shops that was, holy cow, Phil Eichinger from Gotham. He reached out. Sure, we'd love to have him.
Yeah.
And it stemmed from, and it went from there. And I've done, the first 2 years was really hot and heavy. Like I did a bunch because it was kind of like me getting the word out that I did this story and being in touch and just being a part of comic book. I mean, people were coming in with some really cool stuff to sign where I was like, you sure you want me to sign that? They had like a Funko Batman. I'm like, you sure you want me to sign your detectives comic? So I was almost taken aback. That's why I created a lot of cool stuff that I bring and sign. And I just, I was making trading cards, stickers, 4x6s. I was making a lot of cool stuff that I was like, no, you don't have to pay me for my signature. I'm here for you guys to meet. But yeah, so it was, I say I've done about 10 and I haven't done one in about 2. I did one, sorry, Batman Day and Free Comic Day are usually the days I try to reach out to, whether it was someone I did something with. Hey, you guys want me back? Sure, we'd love to. Like one comic book shop in Pennsylvania, I've done a few times. I love them. They love me. We work well together. There was the Maroon Hornet. I'll give them a shout out. Maroon Hornet, Randy and Lori are awesome people. I've been there a few times. Very hospitable. Love their little shop. So yeah, it was just I've done about 10, like I said, and it's been since, like I was telling you, Batman. I feel like those are the days that I can be in touch more, where someone would be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that sounds fun. Let's have him in the store for 2
Yeah.
hours to sign for, give him something, and he'll sign his stuff." But I reached out to this one, like they're in the Bronx, and I've done a show with them a couple years ago, and he reached out to me in May, like you did. And I'm like, "All right, I'll get back to you. I don't know what's going on." And then if you both kind of fell on together at the same time, and he's like, "Yeah, come on in." So I'll go there, and he's happy to have me. He said some really nice things about me. And when you do that, when you're kind with the crowd, when you know who you are and not some big headed, you
Yeah.
had a small role in DC, and it's nice to just kind of give stuff away and just chat about what we're doing right now, and people get a kick out of it, especially shopping for comics. Like, oh, that's cool, that's cool. It's exciting because people don't have that many opportunities to meet someone from
Correct.
a comic show that they like, or so I enjoy it. I really do.
Yeah, no, I think that's the big thing at conventions. Having been to, I've lost track at this point, considering the number of years.
Yeah,
You can always tell when it's a celebrity, like, or someone that's gotten to acting for their first time, and you could tell like it's their first convention.
yeah.
You don't understand like the sheer magnitude that we go into the detail, and we know about maybe your line, your character, like your episode.
I love.
We will do that.
No, it's cool. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a fan of stuff too. I don't think I relate lines back in my house to some movie or TV show that I love. It's human nature, right?
Yeah.
So I get it, but yeah. So like I said, it wasn't maybe 10 mixing with Comic Cons, mini ones, and or actually in person in a comic shop that I knew that was able to handle or want somebody of my stature. You know what I mean? No, I don't want to fill a massive comic book store in this huge mall in like Texas where no one gives a shit, but I'll go to like Connecticut or Pennsylvania or somewhere small in New Jersey, or I'll go to the Bronx where their Comic Con is kind of built up over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
They're getting bigger and bigger. So I'm happy to go back on Saturday. So it'll be nice. Yeah. So if you ever know anything, I mean, I know you're far from me, but we can make something happen one day.
Hey, the Midwest is always
Yeah.
popping off now. What kind of a question? I have a feeling is kind of a pretty big
Okay.
answer. Let's just say Culpepper gets approved by HBO DC.
Yeah.
Do you have right now a set plot line, kind of episode list, or how you want to see it ending? Because most comic books and novels are written almost ending first, and then they kind of go back and piece it out. Do you have kind of a similar kind of foray into this?
Of course. So for pitching, when you have to pitch, you got to really know what you're doing. You can't just write a pilot. Here I go. I'm done with my pilot. And then when they start asking you questions, you got nothing. So it's called a Bible. So you write your series Bible. Usually anywhere from, it gives you a season arc, how many seasons you want to go, episode kind of quick, brief summaries.
Yep.
And we got it. It's about a 10-page Bible. It breaks down that I think we wanted to do 3 or 4 seasons, maybe 3. I think that was it, like 8 episodes. So a quickie, quicker. 3 episodes, 3 seasons, 8 episodes, or 8 to 10. And you got to know what at least your first season broken down, and then your season arc. Sorry, season 1 arc is here. They could be, as long as you had an idea. They don't have to be in concrete right now. It's just they want to see character. They want to see who your series regulars are. And yeah, we have all that out ready to. So usually people, when you're pitching, it's like your elevator pitch, and then here's your Bible. They want to see, okay, what's the summary? Why is this awesome? Oh, okay. Your 1 page, it's called a 1-pager. You give someone this 1 page, and if they can read it, like, this is phenomenal. And then we got a Bible. Yes. You got your pilot. Yes. So we got everything. You got your pilot, your Bible, and your 1 page. And that's, yeah. So it's prepared. It's tight. It's really awesome.
Yeah. And now one of the other things that's crazy, given today's thing, is you could have a show that gets produced and does not actually do like a network show or like going prime time on Fox anymore. You could have Amazon exclusive or HBO Max exclusive.
Yes.
Is this something you would see more as a kind of like an HBO Max DC exclusive? Or would you like to see it, kind of come on at, HBO at, 7 p.m. like it has a slotted time on? That's a tough one.
The only thing I can answer, I think it has to be on HBO because of its content,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
It's because it's sexy and there's not a lot of gore, but it's promiscuous. It's got some moments of sexiness, language.
Yeah.
So HBO definitely. I don't know if it's like you said a time slot. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
But I feel like it wouldn't go that route. I feel like it would go, streaming maybe. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think that far, but I know HBO is obviously the answer.
The place. Yeah.
It's not going on USA, right?
No.
You HBO, but beyond that, I don't know. Yeah.
For sure. All right. Well, we'll get some final information here. Thanks for coming on. So we got a convention coming up. Where is it going to be, and where can people find you at this convention?
So it's called the BX Anime and Comic Show. It's in the Bronx, New York. I'll be there from 9:30 to 3. The name of the church, I've lost the name of the church, but it's at a church that's there. It's not a church event. It's just a space that they have. So
yeah.
Any confusion. But yeah, it's this Saturday coming up. Like I said, 9:30 to 3. I'll have a table there with all my items that I just kind of, people come up to me and I said, no, I just give it. I just signed some Gotham stuff and I just kind of chat like we're doing. And yeah, it's good to be, and I'm making another appearance again, which is always fun.
Definitely. And for anyone interested in keeping up with you, seeing where this pilot goes, seeing any of your other projects or what you're doing, where's the best places to get a hold of you and to follow you?
PhilEichinger.com has all the information of this pilot, breaks down characters like we were speaking of. It's got links, hyperlinks to everything that we've chatted, all those the Easter eggs. There's for upcoming projects, I think it's called. There's a Culpepper. There's past projects that I've done. Just anything that comes out that I'm doing. All the films we talked about are on my website, and then my Instagram, Phil Eichinger. It's that simple. Those are the two things I'm active on. I'm active on Instagram. So please, anybody listening or support, I'm very open. I chat. I could send you some signed stuff. Any fans out there, I have no problem doing that either.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you for coming on and answering our questions. Hopefully we get this pilot again, HBO, DC, if you're listening.
Hey,
now's the time.
Person's got to listen, right?
Let's strike while the iron's hot. Gotham's coming back. Let's get this going. But thanks for coming on, everyone. You can see him this weekend. We got at the Bronx. Was anime BX anime
and comic show.
Comic show. All right. Well, everyone, if you're in the area, go check him out. Go say hello. Go to his website. Check out this pilot. And hopefully we'll keep in touch, and hopefully we'll have you back on when we get this pilot greenlit again.
Yeah, that Ryan, that'd be awesome.
All right. Everyone listening, hope you had a good time. You could listen to this wherever you get your podcast from, or if you are watching this on YouTube, give us a follow and a thumbs up. Everyone, have a good night.